What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to From The Bench Vols. I'm your host, Will Meadows, and welcome to our Thursday edition of the show, where we have a lot of Tennessee football to talk about once again. The Vols look to get revenge on this Arkansas team as they come in to Neyland Stadium this Saturday, a game that the Vols should win. But then again, they were supposed to win it last year, a game that they lost in dramatic fashion. The Vols look to get this one back this year as they chase those college football playoff hopes once again. Arkansas has had a long couple of weeks, recently fired their head coach, lost in really ugly fashion to Notre Dame a couple weeks ago. We're going to cover all of that, all of the analysis of this game, what Tennessee has to do in order to get this win, and what Arkansas can do well. Because, let's face it, yes, they are 2-3, but this is a talented football team, a game that Tennessee cannot overlook at all. But before we get into any of that, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, share it, all of that good stuff. All of that is greatly appreciated. And also, as I fix something in my eye here, keep a lookout on the Instagram. Make sure you guys are followed to the Instagram. There will be a giveaway for this channel soon. Trying to give back to you guys for making this. We're about over a year in now, and I just wanted to kind of have about a year point giveaway for you guys. So make sure you guys are tapped into the Instagram. Go follow that as well, and just keep an eye out for that giveaway because it is coming soon. It could come as soon as this weekend. So let's hop into all of this again. A game that, yes, Tennessee should win, but one they can't overlook. We know that from last year. You know that by watching SEC football. Me and you both. There's no games that you can overlook in the SEC this year. The Vols are 4-1. They moved up 3 spots in the AP poll to number 12 this past week. Arkansas is 2-3, and like I said, coming off of a rough couple of weeks. Fired Sam Pittman, have a new interim head coach. I say new in Bobby Petrino. He's not a new face to the Arkansas football program. Like I said, was their offensive coordinator, but Petrino used to be the head coach for Arkansas from 2008 to 2011, the beginning of my lifetime. So it's been a while, but I know to some people it probably doesn't feel like it was that long ago. Arkansas, like I said, is 2-3 with their 3 losses being to Notre Dame, who is the 16th team in the country right now. Memphis, who is also top 25 in the country. And then the 4th-ranked Ole Miss, who they took down to the wire, lost by less than a touchdown to them, 41-35. So it's not like Arkansas is just getting beaten up on bad teams. They played at Memphis, and that was really kind of Memphis' Super Bowl. Memphis rushed the field for beating unranked Arkansas. And Memphis is one of the best, if not the best, group of 5 team in the country right now. So again, not like it was a slouch. Notre Dame is a couple points away and a couple bad plays from being a top 3 team in the country right now. Again, I'm not here to defend Notre Dame or CJ Carr or any of that. And then Ole Miss, like we said, a top 5 team in the country, ranked number 4 right now, who they took down to the wire with Trinidad Chambliss. All that good stuff. I still think Arkansas is a good team. Now, is this a game that Tennessee's supposed to win? Well, Vegas says yes. They're favored by 12.5. The over-under for this game is a astonishing 68.5. There's going to be a lot of points scored. I could have told you that. You probably know that. There's no doubt about it. Tennessee's defense has struggled at times this year. Arkansas doesn't like to play much defense at all. I don't know if they could guard me, you, and your best friend who's watching this. But they have playmakers on the offensive end. Who leads that charge? We'll start with it. Taylen Green, a stature of a quarterback, 6'6", 6'7", a very big physical guy. Played at Boise State for 2 years, transferred to Arkansas last year, and he's just a playmaker, man. Is he going to make some boneheaded plays here and there? Yes, but I personally think that Taylen Green is one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Like I said, a big guy, has thrown for nearly 1,400 yards this year, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks. But like I said, he's a playmaker. 440 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. 440 yards rushing would be the leading rusher for this Tennessee offense right now. Now, granted, they do split it 3 ways, and Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas are kind of 1A, 1B, and Peyton Lewis is right there behind them. So I'm not saying that, Tennessee's run game is the problem in that scenario. But I'm giving credit where credit is due, Taylen Green is a really good football player. We saw it last year. He made plays for Arkansas. Got banged up in the one last year, if you remember that. But he leads the charge for this Arkansas offense, which has been good for 2 years in a row. Offense is what keeps this team in the game. Their defense is what loses it. Tennessee's got to take advantage of that. But, our defense could be in the same boat. They're getting healthier and healthier each week as they get David Hobbs back this week. the key to this one, you can't let Taylen Green, and I said this last year, I'm getting like deja vu because, again, we are about a year away from my first week of doing my show. It's almost like my year anniversary. I think it was just my year anniversary of this show last week when we didn't have a dang episode, so that's on me. Didn't get to celebrate that crap. But we said it last year, man. You just can't let Taylen Green get outside of the pocket and make plays and extend plays and keep them going on 3rd and 6 and let him get out of the pocket and make a play. You've got to get off the field. Another thing that you can't do is let Arkansas get settled into this game by running the ball for 4 or 5 yards on first down. Tennessee's run defense has been abysmal, to say the least, this year. We all know it. There's no surprise to it. Do I think that there's room for growth? No doubt about it. It's only up from here, in a sense, if you want to look at it from a glass half full, half empty type of standpoint. You've got to be able to stop the run on first down all game, but you cannot let Arkansas get these drives started, get them going down the field by starting off on first down with a 4 or 5 yard game on the ground. Their leading rushers, Mike Washington, had some bulletin board material. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. Mike Washington, Braylon Russell, two kind of guys that contrast each other. Mike Washington, more of your kind of elusive guy. Braylon Russell, if you remember him last year, just the bruiser, man. All 240 pounds of him. He's a big guy, a guy that's tough to bring down. They've got a duo back there in the backfield. Again, you've got to be able to stop the run. They ran the ball very well against us last year. And again, with Taylen Green as well, you cannot let him be able to make more plays with his legs throughout this game. Because, I mean, he's played 5 games, and he has 441 yards rushing. I mean, good Lord. That is... I'm not going to do math. It's nearly 90 yards a game, so I will do math. It's nearly 90 yards a game. He's going to want to make plays with his legs. We've got to be able to stop that. Arion Carter is going to be a big part of that, kind of playing a QB spy. We know Carter is our sideline-to-sideline guy. Edwin Spillman has that type of athleticism to keep up with him as well, so we've got to be able to keep him in check and keep him from keeping these drives alive. Mike Washington, what did he have to say this week? He said... When asked about, playing Tennessee, he said they have a great defense, but a lot of holes in their defense, so it's going to be a fun game. You're going to talk about bulletin board material. You've heard all the good things about Tennessee, but all the bad things have been about the run defense, and then the team that you're about to play's running back has something to say about it. It's one thing that the media is saying something about it, because that's their job. But when the opposing team's running back comes out and says something about it, you slap that on everybody's locker. You print out a piece of paper for everybody and slap that on the locker and say, what are you going to do about this? As if there's not enough, on the table for Tennessee players after what happened last year. We haven't played in Neyland in 3 weeks is what it feels like. I guess it's been 2 weeks, but it feels like 3. I mean, it's a day away from 3. Whatever the case may be, it's been a while since we've been back in Neyland Stadium. This is going to be a rocking environment. Again, after what happened last year, the Vols want to build this momentum heading into the 3rd Saturday in October. They want to build this momentum because of what happened last year, a game that you should not have lost at all. There's a lot on the line for Tennessee fans, Tennessee players, especially for Josh Heupel, all these things, and for Mike Washington to come out on an interview and say that, what more do you need as a defensive line and a linebacker core to want to be able to stop the run? The whole defense has got to do their part. Omega Blake, the best receiver for this Arkansas team, is one of the better playmakers in the SEC. The transfer from Charlotte spent his freshman and sophomore year at South Carolina, had a successful year at Charlotte last year, over 750 receiving yards. He has been South Carolina. He has been Arkansas's guy so far this year. 30 catches for 400 yards and like 3 touchdowns. Through these first 5 games. He has been their playmaker. He has been that go-to guy. He's a great player after the catch. Tennessee's going to have to tackle him when he gets the ball and prevent him from getting the ball in the first place. He's a playmaker. He's going to make his plays. Andrew Armstrong, who was Arkansas's best receiver last year, made plays time and time again against us last year. There is no Jermon McCoy. Once again, I know it's getting really upsetting having to say that every week. Not saying it's his fault or anybody's fault. We just know how good Jermon McCoy is. Colton Hood and Ty Redmond are going to have to be a big part in stopping Omega Blake from getting going early in this game, kind of like an Andrew Armstrong did last year for Arkansas. And if you can keep Omega Blake from getting going, that struggles if Taylen Green doesn't have his main guy. It's really going to be a Colton Hood kind of game, in my opinion. I would think that Colton Hood would follow him. I think that, if you're Bobby Petrino, who was this team's offensive coordinator 2 weeks ago, you want to attack Ty Redmond. No shade on Ty Redmond whatsoever. I think he's going to be an incredible player in 3 years' time, and he's still a good player now, but he is a freshman, a true freshman at that. Very little experience. Georgia targeted him. You're going to watch the film and turn on the tape, and all these SEC coordinators are going to say, let's target 4. And Colton Hood has been that good, where I think that this is, in that sense, like we saw with Jermon McCoy last year with Ryan Williams, I would not be surprised if you see a Colton Hood follow Omega Blake to start this game off. Needed some water there. But I think that this is a game where Tennessee gets going early. Maybe that's just off the bye week and I'm ready to see him play football. I feel like I haven't seen him play in a while. Maybe that's just the fan in me. But I do think that Joey Aguilar gets this game going early. We get going on the ground early because, again, Arkansas's defense is not good. If this offensive line continues to hold up like they have all year, I don't think these DBs can cover down and down and down again, on these 20-yard posts. Somebody's going to free up open. If you can start these drives with 4 and 5 yards a carry on first down, open up the play action, I do think Tennessee's going to get going early. If you get a couple stops early in this game, I think you could wrap it up quickly, just like Notre Dame did against them a couple weeks ago. Again, I watched that Notre Dame game a couple weeks ago. If you watch that game, and that's the only Arkansas game you've watched all year, you probably think Tennessee's going to win this game by 50. And if that's the only game you've watched, then I cannot blame you. But I've watched Arkansas play, a few games this year. I watched them play against Ole Miss. It's not a bad football team. They have the playmakers. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a trap game because I feel like we say I've run into the habit, and I feel like Tennessee fans as a whole have run into the habit of calling every par average SEC team a trap game when it's not Alabama, Florida, or Georgia, or in Oklahoma in this case this year. They're not all trap games. I've run into that habit of saying that. I feel like a lot of Tennessee fans have. I don't think this is a trap game. It's a game that you should win. They do have playmakers because they're an SEC caliber team. But if you can stop those guys and really get a few stops early, I think Tennessee could run away with this one quick. So what's my prediction? I'm going to say Tennessee's going to win this one and move on to 5-1 to start the year through your first half of the season. I think Tennessee, like I said, jumps out early. What's the over-under? It's 68.5. God. I think that they get out early in this one. I think that they win this game by 17, 21, somewhere around there. I guess my prediction, score prediction, I didn't even really come prepared with one, so that's on me. I was just kind of thinking, I was astonished by that line when I was kind of putting my notes together for this episode. I'm going to take Tennessee 42-24. So what's that line right there? 42 and 24. That's 18. Is that right? I hope it is. Please don't call me a big dummy in the comments if that's incorrect. I think it's going to be a 42-24 victory for the Vols. Just, again, you've got to take advantage of a team who has kind of been down and out the last few weeks. They are coming off their bye week as well. You fire Sam Pittman a couple weeks ago, a new guy at the helm. I keep saying new, but Bobby Petrino, it doesn't even feel right to say new and Bobby Petrino in the same sentence. You've just got to take advantage of the disadvantages Arkansas is at right now and be able to make plays and just contain Taylen Green. That's the story of the game right there. Contain Taylen Green, and this game should end up being a 42-24 type of game. Let me know down in the comments what your guys' prediction is for the game. If you guys are going to the game, be safe, obviously. There's a lot of good football all over the country right now, especially in the SEC. Last weekend, on paper, it didn't really seem like there was a lot of good games. there ended up being some good games last weekend. But this weekend, man, that is not the case. Bama at Missouri, 8 versus 14. That is a very big game. Missouri is undefeated, and they have the best running back in the country, one of the best running backs in the country, in Ahmad Hardy. Bo Prabula has been great this year for Missouri. Kevin Coleman, the Mississippi State transfer, has been great this year for Missouri. Missouri is a dang good football team. I think that they're one of the most excuse me. I think that they're one of the most slept-on teams in the country, but I think Alabama might just be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country. I think Miami is the best team, but I think Alabama is right there in that top 3. Ty Simpson is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So Bama and Missouri, that's one to keep an eye on. The Red River Shootout, Oklahoma versus Texas. I talked about it last episode yesterday. Arch Manning just looks to be no good at football, but John Mateer's not going to play in this one. I don't think they've officially announced that, but me and you both know, if you have a brain right here between these ears, that John Mateer is most likely. Now, if he plays, I will do whatever the top comment says. It's not like there's a lot of comments on these posts, but I will be astonished if he somehow plays, given the fact that he had surgery 2 weeks ago. Florida at Texas A&M. Look, Florida looked really bad a couple weeks ago, but that freshman Dallas Wilson is the truth. I don't know if he is that rejuvenating factor that this Florida offense needed, but if it is, Florida looked really good against Texas last week. Going into Kyle Field is never going to be easy, but one to look at nonetheless, especially because I think Texas A&M is a good football team, but they have a quarterback who could choke it up any game that they roll out there. I don't really believe in Marcel Reed, even though he has all the weapons in the world with Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. And then we've got UGA at Auburn, a game that Georgia should definitely win, especially with how bad Auburn's offensive line has been to this point in the year and how bad I think Jackson Arnold truly is. But just, again, another SEC game. You really got to pay attention to all these SEC games. It's kind of crazy. And then South Carolina at LSU. South Carolina was a preseason top 12 team in the country. They did not start off the year the way that they thought they would. LSU, I personally thought that they were a top 3 team in the country. I figured that this offense would kind of have it figured out more than they do at this point, and they simply do not. But that defense is arguably the best in the country. Another one, if Lenore Sellers can take over that one, but, again, playing at Death Valley is never easy. And then, outside of the SEC, just shining some light, 2 really good Big Ten games. Indiana at Oregon, 7 versus 3. I know last year, Illinois started off the season 10-0, and everybody was on that hype train. I never really could get on it. But watching them this year, Elijah Surratt is one of the best receivers in the country. Fernando Mendoza is the truth, in my opinion. I think this Indiana team could be dangerous, but on the other side, Oregon also has one of the best quarterbacks in the country in Dante Moore, a game that you've got to keep your eye on nonetheless, just good football. Ohio State at Illinois hasn't impressed me that much. Obviously got the belt from Indiana earlier in the year. Ohio State is still Ohio State, and Julian Sayin continues to look better each and every game, and Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith just seem unfair in college football. So I think Ohio State takes that one, but again, a top 20 matchup you got to keep your eye on. And then the Group of 5 game. Not everybody wants to show love to these Friday night games, a game tomorrow night. But we've got Alex Golesh. We are Alex Golesh lovers over here from the bench. Big fans of Alex Golesh. Alex Golesh and USF head to North Texas, who is another one of the Group of 5 favorites, undefeated to this point. I think the 3 Group of 5 favorites to this point of the year is USF, Memphis, and North Texas. USF still has North Texas and Memphis on their schedule with already a loss to Miami. You can't really lose another one if you are USF. So just a game to keep your eye on for the playoff picture, a picture that Tennessee hopes to be on at the end of the year nonetheless. So some good games on the college football slate this Saturday, and I'm definitely going to watch most of those, but I will be in Neyland Stadium at 4:15 this weekend. Really excited for it. Again, I do think that this is one that Tennessee gets out early on this Arkansas team. Again, looking for revenge, one that you really need, one that you cannot drop like you did last year. Just one that Tennessee has to win nonetheless in a game that they should win nonetheless. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of From The Bench Vols. Again, make sure you guys are followed to all of our social medias. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, share it, all of that good stuff. Again, I know I just said it with the social medias, but a giveaway could be coming soon, so stay tapped into that. You guys will want to be followed to the social medias in the next few days. If you are going to the game on Saturday, have a great time. Be safe. I will see you guys next week, and go Vols.